Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And today I want to talk about a love story. Kind of a strange love story, a different love story, an unexpected love story. This upcoming weekend, the 25th, Saturday, is my 7-year anniversary of being married to my husband, Alex. It is also our 10-year anniversary of our very first date. And we are getting ready to go to Las Vegas, Nevada to celebrate. It's where we got married, and it's also the very first trip that we ever took was to Las Vegas. And so we're really, really excited about it. And, you know, I'm like getting everything ready, buying dog food, you know, cleaning the house for our house guests and all this kind of stuff. And I've got all this stuff to do, he's got all this stuff to do, and in the middle of all of it, like I'm on social media this morning, and he like tweets out and puts on this picture on Instagram of like one of our wedding photos, and I kind of just stopped for a second, and I was like sitting there and I was like looking at it, and I remember like that moment of taking it, right? And you know, it was really cool, and I was thinking back on when I was 17, 18 years old, and if you had told me that there would be a time in this world that I could be married to a man and, you know, have what everybody else had, a house with dogs and go grocery shopping and go out to dinner, and I would never have believed that. The condition of our society has changed in the last 25 years, and I would never have believed that that was possible, that I could have had that unexpected love story, so to speak, you know? Did I believe that, you know, I could live with somebody and my parents, my family might accept them? Yeah, absolutely. Did I think that my family, because they were very, very liberal, my coming out experience was, you know, awesome, that they would be, you know, very cool with me bringing people over and stuff? Sure. Did I think that they would respect that person, you know, as a life partner? I didn't know. I didn't know if society would. I didn't even think on the level of like gym memberships to insurance to having both of us be TSA approved as a couple, you know, those kinds of things. Like I never even thought about couple privileges at that time because I thought, well, maybe if I can just live with somebody in an apartment, that would be enough. Well, the world has changed a lot in the last 25 years. The world has changed a lot in the last 10 years since I met my husband. This day, 25 years ago, I got back from Denver, Colorado, visiting one of my very, very best friends, and I had been visiting him all that summer because my mother had passed away in May, and so I wanted to make some drastic changes in my life. I just didn't know what drastic change was coming my way, and I kind of thought I'd just be able to get on here and not get emotional about this. But anyway, so I had been visiting my friend a lot that summer. Like every 3 weeks, I would go out there and stay for like 5 days. And I had decided that I was going to move to Denver, Colorado. I loved Denver. I thought it was beautiful. He was one of my dearest friends. He was very supportive of me. And I mean, I even had the area picked out in Denver. I wanted to live in Lodo, and you know, I think that's what it's called. And it just, I just was ready. I was ready to go out there. I had it all figured out. I even had some, you know, job opportunities I was looking at and things like that. So I had about 2 weeks before I came back gotten a message from my husband through MySpace, because that's like we initially started talking through MySpace. I'd seen him out at a club and I knew who he was. I'd seen him around. I knew his friend group. We kind of had some friends that were like common friends. And so one night I just saw him on MySpace and I sent him a message and I said, hey, you know, blah, blah, blah. We'll tell the story another time. We've told it before, and he messaged me back and said, oh, thank you, but I'm not interested right now. Like I'm still interested in my ex. And so then like 3 weeks before today, I got this message from him and he said, you know, when are you going to take me on this date? And I said, oh, are you over your ex now? And he said, yeah, I'm over my ex. And so we had planned a date and I had actually canceled it twice. So we were supposed to go on this date when I got back from Denver. And I came back and I just was ready to move. Like I was done. Like I just needed to get things in order and I was going to be out of here. And so I was supposed to go on a date, okay, the 25th, so next Saturday, but it was actually, I think, a Monday is when, I think, if I'm right, August 25th, 2008 was a Monday. I should look it up, but I don't know. But anyway, I think it was a Monday. It was either a Monday or a Wednesday, I know that. So anyway, and 10 years later, here we are, you know? And I had called my friend that day, and I said, I don't want to go on this date. And he goes, why not? I said, well, I've canceled it twice already, because I'm just not really that interested, you know? Like, I'm going, I'm leaving. Why even get something started here if I'm going to go, you know, and move to Denver? And he goes, well, you know, either you'll go and you'll get the date over with, or you'll make a new friend. And so, like, what's the worst that can happen? And I was like, yeah, you're right. Well, I ended up going on this date, and I've told this story before, that like Alex walked in front of my car and gave us kind of, like I picked him up downtown at a friend's house after he had just gotten done with school. And he walked in front of my car and he like waved, and I was like, you're so screwed, right? And so he got in the car, and from the point that he got in the car, now, here's the deal. You know, at the time that I met my husband, I was 36 and he was 24. He was finishing up college, and I was like ready to start moving on, trying to transition into retiring from my career. So, you know, like we were at completely two different points in our lives whatsoever. And I mean to tell you, from the moment that he got in that car till the moment that I took him home that night, we did not stop. Well, I mean, we stopped talking a little bit, but I mean, we did not stop talking the entire night on that date. Like, it was the easiest date, the most just, I mean, it just was easy. There was no effort, and he'll say the same thing. Like, if he was sitting right here, he'd be like, yeah, it was the best date I've ever had in my entire life. What he would also tell you is he had another date planned for the next night with somebody else, because he was not entertaining the idea of getting in a relationship or being committed, and he actually canceled that date. And, you know, I mean, if that date had happened first, I might not be with my husband right now, you know? And so I was thinking about all of that this morning, about how stuff happens that's weird, you know? And I fought a lot of my beliefs when I got together. You know, I'm very, very spiritual. My husband's an atheist. My husband drinks, and I'm in recovery. There were a lot of things that didn't match up, if that makes sense, you know? I had always dated people that were like a year younger than me or the same age as me, and this was the first person that I dated that was younger, and he was 12 years younger than me. There was an age gap, you know? Although my dad and my stepmom, there was like a 22-year age, I think 20 or 22-year age gap between them. So it was nothing new to me, right? But I thought it would be a problem, and it hasn't been. The problem that has been with the differences between us is really the fact that he moved here when he was 12 from Venezuela. So a lot of the cultural references, like, I was telling him the story about, you guys remember when you're in elementary school and you pull the like you do that thing in gym class where like with the parachute, you pull the parachute? Well, he has, like, they didn't do that in Venezuela when he was in elementary school, so he has no recollection of that whatsoever, right? So there's some cultural, like, you know, missings that happen in between us, but other than that, like, we never have an issue being on the same page. And I think that one of the things is that our long-term goals and our short-term goals are similar, if that makes sense. We allow each other today to have space and to have our own independence and our own interests. And that's taken some time getting there, you know? Like, when we first got together, we were very enmeshed in the other person, and we were always together. And I don't know that I necessarily think in retrospect that that's the greatest thing. You know, my ex and I were inseparable, always together, and I think that is something that kind of like didn't help the relationship at all. And with Alex and I, and he and his ex were similar. There's like hair floating around, because Boo Radley is literally, I'm holding Boo Radley right now down here as we speak, because Boo, he is very needy today. But, you know, we've learned a lot about each other through the years, you know? And I think that's the thing, is that you grow with one another. Neither one of us wanted to be in relationships when we got together, and the fact that we're here 10 years later, I cannot tell you how many people, and it makes me sad, that we have befriended through the years when they meet somebody, get married, and then get divorced, and it's like, why us? Like, we're still here. Like, it's crazy, right? And, you know, I think that we've always kind of just looked right at issues and addressed them and been honest with each other about what we need to address. Marriage counseling in the last 2 years has really, I mean, saved our marriage. But not only that, it's taken our marriage from like a 4 to like a 10. Like, it has. Which is why I talk so much about marriage counseling, you know? But if you had asked me 10 years ago, like, you're going to be married to, I would have said, no, we will never get married. This will never happen. And I would have said, you know, like, we'll never, like, if somebody had said, you'll be in marriage counseling, I would have said, no, what are you talking about? Now, that's something that we look forward to. I mean, Alex and I both look forward to our, you know, our, what do you call it? Our marriage counseling nights. We enjoy it. And because it just betters our relationship. There have been so many ups and downs in our relationship. There have been so many things, did you see him jump over there? There have been so many things that happened that I didn't think that we were going to make it through, and he didn't think that he was going to make it through, especially early, you know, in our relationship. We had some friends of ours that had us over to dinner when we first got together. We fought a lot. We fought a lot when we first got together, our first couple years. And you want to talk about toxic relationships, I probably would define our relationship in the first 2 years as toxic. And but we weren't really willing to give up on it either. And the common thread was that, like, there was this crazy passion between us. And so anyway, we had these friends that had us over to dinner one night, and they sat us down, and they had been together for like 20 years. They're still very good friends of ours. And, you know, she cooked and made us this amazing dinner because she's this fantastic cook. And, you know, they were sitting there, and, you know, they both were telling us that they had like met in college, and, you know, the first 3 years of their life were so hard, and that they thought they were going to break up like so many times, and they threatened breaking up and all this kind of stuff. And they said, if you can just make it past the 3 or 3.5 year mark, you'll be completely fine. And I think that's so true. But I think also what happened was that somewhere along the way, we started appreciating us and not just him and myself. We started appreciating what we had cultivated, you know, a family, a home, dogs, things like that. And so now here we are, this unexpected love story that should never have happened. If you ask any of our friends, they will tell you, Peter and Alex were not the couple that we thought would be together, you know? And now our friends say, I can't ever imagine Alex and Peter not together. So it's cool, you know? But it's this unexpected love story. But the thing is, and I think that it's all about being able to and being willing to communicate and merge with the other person. This is gonna sound crazy. But one of the things that I had the biggest issue with when I met Alex is the one thing that I have learned that I think has really saved our relationship the most. And is that Alex is very much a realist, and I am very much an idealist. And, you know, I live a lot in a fantasy world sometimes. That's why I like to read and watch movies. Alex is a realist. I mean, he really is. And, you know, we would talk about the whole idea of soulmates, because I always wanted to meet my soulmate, right? And, you know, I would say things to him, let's say, and these discussions are what I'm talking about would lead to fights, okay? And I would say, do you think that we're like soulmates? And he would say, no. He was like, I don't believe in soulmates. He was like, I believe that we're two people that are very interested in each other and get along very, very well, that met at the right time. I'm like, but we're not soulmates? And he's like, no, I don't believe in that. And I'm like, well, do you think that we'll meet like on the other side when we die? Like, these absolutely pointless questions, excuse me, I would drive him crazy with, you know? Like, do you think when we both die, we'll meet on the other side? And he would say, I don't believe in another side, so no. And I'm like, you don't believe in another side? Then what's going to happen when I'm gone? And then am I going to be all alone on the other side because you don't believe in the other side? These are ridiculous-ass conversations that we would have when we first got together, right? You know, and then he would say things to me like, well, why do you believe in an afterlife? Why does it matter? And I'd be like, well, if there's no afterlife, then where's my mom, you know? Like, this was like this very childish response that I would give him. We used to have all these conversations about it. The reality is today, and I don't want to ruin anybody's magic, and believe in what you want to believe in. I very much today believe in an afterlife, and Alex very much respects that, and he knows that, you know? And for me, I had to do a lot of research on my own. I haven't had any near-death experiences, but I had to do a lot of research on my own, you know, and trying to find some things that meant something to me, and that's all about my higher power. And my husband and all the people in my life, okay, people that are highly spiritual, like my best friend, people that are religious that I'm friends with, whatever, of all the friends in my life, my husband is the most respectful of my spirituality, and he's an atheist. And I think that says something a lot about our relationship, you know, and I am equally as respectful of his beliefs as well, because I think he has absolutely every right to his belief, and yet that doesn't seem to be a problem in our relationship. The one thing that has changed for me is that I no longer believe in soulmates. I do believe very much that people are connected, and that maybe this is not our first time connected on this earth. I read a book years ago called Many Lives, Many Masters, and that, you know, 5 or 6 entities replay life in many different ways. It's a fantastic book. I don't know that I believe it, but it's an interesting read. I don't know. There are many times that I feel like I've known my husband before, but do I think that we're soulmates, that we're destined to be together forever? No, I don't know that I necessarily believe that, but we're doing okay for today, and we're having a great time with it. I love my husband. He is the love of my life, and I know that I am the love of his life, and I just, you know, I can't wait to see what happens with us going forward. And, you know, people all the time say to me, you know, you guys are couple goals, or you're this, and I get all these people that will comment whenever I put a picture up, they'll say, oh, couple goals, or you guys are the most, you know, if you think that this was an easy road, it wasn't an easy road. And the reason why I hold my marriage and my relationship and my husband so dear to my heart out of the many times that he has fucked up, and out of the many times that I have fucked up in my life and our marriage, and said mean things, and done hurtful things, and done nice things, and done over the top really amazing things, because he has done some of the most amazing things, and so have I, and we've done hurtful things as well, is that what I think we realize is that it is really more about the road to keep on going instead of looking for reasons why it won't work. And I think that's why we're here today, is that we're in it for the long haul. I love my husband so much. I am so excited for this trip to come. And I already pre-filmed all of my videos for the next week. So I wanted to come on here just today and pay homage to my marriage, because we have worked our ass off for it. And I'm very, very proud of my marriage. I love my husband. He's fantastic. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.